What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a video from Conquer Driving, the top 10 reasons for failing the UK driving test. Now, we've done a number of different videos about driving in the UK, and I must say, I think it is much harder to get a license on average in the UK versus the US.
I think so too.
I feel like here in the US, we kind of have it easy when it comes to what we need to know to get on the road.
Yeah, and also for the driving portion, it really depends on who you have as your
instructor.
Well, would it be instructor? It would be the person who's overseeing it.
At the DMV.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is kind of luck of the draw, like if they're in a bad mood and you mess
really
up
is.
one little bit.
But let's be honest, it's probably the same way somewhat in the UK as well.
Sure.
But based off of what we've based off what we've seen, it seems to be much stricter in the UK to get a driver's license.
Yeah.
To be fair, in the US, driving is based off of each individual states. The rules and regulations around the road come from that particular state. And so when I get a driver's license in North Carolina, it's going to be somewhat different from getting a driver's license in Indiana, for example. And some states are going to be a little bit harder than others, but based off my experience in the states I've gotten driver's license and based off what I've learned about driving in the UK, it definitely seems like it is a bit harder. And so I'm expecting there are going to be some very interesting reasons that people may fail a UK driving test.
The top 10 reasons for failing the driving test in the UK. These are not my top 10 reasons, but the official DVSA reasons taken from literally hundreds of thousands of failed tests. These statistics were published in 2021. Reason number one, the most common reason for failing the driving test in the UK, which seems to be the most common every year, is not making effective observations at junctions.
Observations at junctions.
The DVSA claim that a common cause of failure at junctions is pulling out in front of people and making them slow down.
Okay.
When you're pulling out of a junction, you need to have good enough judgment that you know whether or not you're going to make the cars approaching brake for you. If you make them brake a small amount, you may get away with it. But if you continue to do it, you will most likely fail. If you make them brake a lot, then you will most likely fail straight away. This is not just T-junctions, but all junctions, including roundabouts or even turning right at traffic lights with oncoming cars. Another common cause of failure
Okay, so I feel like if you were pulling out in front of people here in the US, I think if you did it a bunch of times, I think you would obviously get failed as well.
Yeah. I don't really remember. Like, I took it so long ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I was probably 15 or I don't know if I was 15 or 16 when I took mine.
Me too.
But it was like right as soon as I could do it, I did it.
Right. And
I was lucky because it was a very small town BMV. And so I'm sure they gave me some leniency. But I've always been a pretty good driver because I started young. Like, my uncle was really good at teaching me how to drive. So I felt pretty confident by the time I was actually testing for my license.
I must say that I feel like here in the US, if I was to pull out in front of people, one time where they just braked a little would probably, I agree with that. But if you were to make someone just slam on brakes, I have a feeling they would probably fail you.
Yeah.
I think that would be the same in both countries.
Observations at junctions is simply not
pretty
observing at all. Often happens in situations like this where it looks like you can carry on straight, and the only way you know you need to get away is via the lines on the road.
It's all pretty area.
Many drivers simply sail straight across a junction like this without looking both left and right at cars that could be approaching. Of course, this would result in a test fail.
Yeah.
People also fail for not making any observations for joining a dual carriageway via a slip road.
I don't know what that means.
Even more scary.
Is that like an on-ramp onto a motorway?
Right-hand corner of your screen on joining motorways
probably
and
on-ramp,
via a slip road. Another reason is only looking right, not left, when turning left.
So that would be us only looking left, not right.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about what's coming from the right. However, to pull out with only looking right is dangerous because anyone on the left could still be coming.
Yeah.
It could be overtaking parked cars, or there could even be someone crossing the road on the left. So make sure you look both ways when you're turning left.
I feel like that's common sense.
Not just right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
and the final reason they give for failing on observations at junctions is looking too late. And what they mean by that is simply going past the line before you start checking. Make sure you start checking it's safe before you cross the line at the junction.
This is all still just under number 1, right?
I just
Under
realized that. I
observation.
thought he was moving on to 2 and 3.
I know,
but yeah, this is all
nuance
under observation. Yeah.
It does seem like, granted, I haven't taken a driving test in the U.S. in a city, which is probably
Big city.
different than a rural area.
Yeah.
It would be a lot harder, I think. But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more nuance to the UK driving test.
There definitely is. There is so much to it. You even have to know
like very small things.
Right.
That,
You even have to know certain things about your car itself, right? Like,
oh yeah, that was a good point.
Like here in the US, I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great idea, but it's just something you do not have to know.
No, you don't, you don't have to show that you know it.
Right, you don't have to show you know it to actually pass. You don't have to show you know certain things about the way, the car engine and whatnot.
Which, I mean, it makes,
It does make sense to have that. I'm surprised we don't. But again, there is no nationwide regulation around what necessarily has to be in. Some states may even have that. I have no idea, but definitely not where I've been.
Yeah, same.
Number 2, the second most common cause of failing is not using mirrors correctly when changing direction. The DVSA say this is often a problem on roundabouts because when you're turning right at a roundabout, you're normally in the right lane. But when you need to leave a roundabout, quite often you need to move to the left lane. And you need to check your mirrors to make sure it's safe before you change lane.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Many people forget to do that. The
That's scary.
DVSA also say it's quite common to fail the test for trying to change lane without making effective observations on normal roads, not just roundabouts. For example, here, you've got to check your mirrors before you change lane and make sure you don't make anyone coming up beside you brake.
I mean...
Number 3.
I feel like this is common sense stuff.
That seemed like common sense, right?
Yeah, like it's scary to me that people don't do that.
Don't check your mirror before you get over, knowing that there are people out there that are driving that aren't even looking and they're just turning.
Over. I mean, that's true.
I've had people do that to me. Yeah, they just pull your did you not see me? Yeah.
Close calls.
Yeah, that's true.
Not having proper control of the steering. And you can be forgiven for believing that means keeping your hands at 10 to 2 and moving the steering wheel in some particular manner. But in actual fact, the examiners are very relaxed with how you use the wheel. How you use the steering wheel is rarely the problem. It's usually either turning too little, too much, too early, or too late.
Wait, what?
A classic example is hitting the curb when you turn left.
Oh
Don't get too near the curb, steer too much, and then mount the curb with the rear wheel.
Okay. I mean,
I don't think I've ever done that, but...
Another example...
With the front is a different story.
And that means you can end up going on the wrong side of the road and needing to swan neck to come back to your side.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you keep both hands on the steering wheel as much as possible and maintain good control of the wheel when using it, how you use it is not that important. It's how much you steer and when you steer that counts.
That's interesting because I would have assumed, based off of what I had learned so far about driving in the UK, that the what are they called? The people that are watching you when you're on a test. They're not the instructors, right? Examiners. I would have assumed they would have been sticklers for you holding the wheel exactly like 10 and 2 or whatever. I'm not even sure. Is it 9 and 3 here? Or is it 10 and 2 here?
10 and 2 generally, at least when I took it. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it's been so long I don't even remember. But I know it was something like that.
At the end, I want to look up how long the average driving test lasts in the UK, like how long they test you for versus here.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I feel like mine was pretty short.
Number 4 is incorrect positioning when turning right at junctions. This is usually to do with positioning to the left when you're turning right. A good example is not using one of these waiting areas in the middle properly, either only half going in or not going in at all. Waiting in the middle here allows people space to pass on the left. Another example is that...
Hold on,
I think he was saying like staying in the other lane maybe instead of getting over to the turn lane.
When you're turning right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I started saying when you're turning left, like that would make sense, but yeah, it's turning right.
Roundabout where you have room to position yourself to the right when turning right, which allows room for cars to pass you on your left. If there's room for you to do this, you should. You will also fail for this fault if you turn right at a roundabout and use the incorrect lane. Now it's time for number 5, which is not moving off safely. One way people fail for this is trying to move away from the side of the road with an oncoming car and there's not room for both you and the oncoming car. If that's the case, you should wait for the oncoming car to clear before you get going.
Who wouldn't do that?
This can also happen when moving away from the wrong
Wait, you're just
side
going
of
to
the
pull
road
out in front of
behind
it?
Traffic.
Otherwise?
Won't make people brake or swerve when you're moving away. People also fail for not moving off safely if they don't check the relevant blind spot before moving away. You want to check the roadside blind spot. So if you're on the right hand side of the road like I am now, I'll check the left blind spot, but normally you're going to be on the left hand side of the road in UK, then you'll be checking the right hand blind spot. You won't fail for missing a blind spot or two, but if you repeatedly don't check your blind spot,
I can imagine.
you will fail.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You also fail for this fault if you don't make any rearward checks after your emergency stop. When you've done the emergency stop, the examiner will then ask you to carry on. Before you carry on, check both blind spots because you're no longer parked next to the curb. Number 6, not responding appropriately to traffic lights. Some ways people fail at traffic lights is for either not going when it's green or going when it's red, not waiting in the middle for oncoming cars as these cars are now. They simply drive in front of them and make them brake.
Oh, okay. I can imagine the driving in front of them would annoy the examiner.
What's going on here?
They're trying to turn, I think.
They're trying to turn right.
Yeah.
That's quite a common mistake, actually. Or when there is an opportunity for that red car in front of me to turn right because there's a break in the cars, they don't take the opportunity. The
Oh,
examiners don't expect
Waiting
you to take
too
the hard
long.
ones,
Yeah.
only the easy ones. Also, going ahead at a green light when your exit road is blocked and therefore you're going to be stuck in the middle indefinitely. You should just wait.
When the light
Okay.
changes.
Once you've got a green
Yeah.
arrow, the oncoming cars will stop and you can continue.
okay. I was confused on that. He wasn't talking about we're going to go around these cars. He was talking about when you are actually turning.
The light went amber as I was crossing the line there. If that happens, carry on. Another common cause of failure at traffic lights is not stopping at the first line on the cycle box. I call them cycle boxes because it makes sense. They're actually called advanced stop lines, but you should stop at the first line here, not the last.
What?
You can stop at the last if it goes amber as you're crossing the first and you don't have time to cross the second line before it goes red. In that situation, it's okay. I actually have a video I put a lot of time into for how people fail on traffic lights. I'll leave a link to it in the top right hand corner of your screen. Number 7, poor positioning on the road.
I wonder what that bike box was that he's talking about.
I think that was just a place for bikes to cross, wasn't it?
It was a crossing because it looked like it didn't look like it went all the way across.
Oh, I thought it did. I thought it looked like it went all the way across, didn't it?
Did it?
Hold on. I guess you're right. It doesn't cross here. So I'm not sure, guys.
What is the purpose of that?
Yeah. What is this, guys? Because you were right. If it was a bike crossing, should cross this lane too. So I have no idea what this
Maybe it's
is.
telling you to be alert for bicyclists. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
Green. Number 7, poor positioning on the road during normal driving.
Poor positioning.
Here are 3 ways you can fail on this fault. Not staying in the middle of your lane. It's quite normal for learners to be really left of their lane. Being in the right lane of a dual carriageway when there's no reason for you to be there. For example,
Like
What?
fast lane. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Or straight lining a roundabout, which is when you don't stay in your lane on the roundabout and you end up cutting people up.
Okay,
Cutting people.
being in the right when you don't really have a reason to be there is the surprising one to me. Although, wait.
That's the fast lane.
That's your fast lane, probably, right? Because here the right lane would be the lane that was more the slow lane. The left lane would be the fast lane. You guys are the opposite, which means that. Okay, that would make sense, I guess, because that would be like us being on the interstate, being in the left lane when you're cruising at a slow or normal speed or below the speed limit.
When you could just be over.
Yeah, you could be over in the... Okay, that makes sense if that's what he's talking about, which I think it probably is.
Here's an example. I get to the roundabout. I must steer to the left to stay in my lane. If I go straight across where the white car is, I'll be cutting people up.
Cutting
People up.
I love the way he says
Number
it.
8, not responding correctly to traffic signs. Here are a few ways you can fail.
Oh, look at
Oh
the
my
stop sign way up
goodness.
there.
Guys,
I
have literally never seen a stop
we
sign that
blow
high.
right through that.
I wouldn't be looking up there. I'd have my visor down and not even see it. Oh my goodness.
My gosh. Is that normal? Like, are they normally? Surely not.
It makes me wonder because, as we know, the infrastructure around a lot of England is older because, is...
Oh, so you have less...
You can't widen a lot of roads.
Yeah, that's
because,
true.
like, as you see here, this is built up. There's not much you could do.
Oh my gosh. But out of all the things we've seen on driving in the UK, I've never seen a stop sign up high
Never
like
seen that.
So it's good that we saw this because now when we come over, we
pay attention.
know to look up.
Although, to be fair, if I came to this, even without a stop sign, I'm not just going to roll through.
Right,
I'm going to stop.
true.
But that is interesting. I've never seen that. What is that top? What is the top of that? Is
Maybe like a road sign?
It looks like a camera, but I don't think it is.
Maybe it is.
Would make sense for it to be
Or
a camera.
light or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a light for at night.
Oh, it would need one at night. Yeah, I bet you're
Solar
right.
light.
That's a light. Wow. It's interesting they just didn't put one right over on the side here.
Right, yeah. Although
this-
if you're driving on the left.
Yeah, that's true.
Responding to a stop sign or a no entry sign. That
That's-
one's all the way up there.
That is crazy.
That
Which
is-
is quite ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
When you
It's
get
not
to the stop
normal.
line with a stop sign, you actually come to a complete stop. You can't just give way. Another is going right of a keep left sign. Here's a keep left sign. We should go past on the left, not the right. Same here where the island is. We should be passing this island on the left where the keep left sign is, not on the right of it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that would be
the wrong side of the road.
that would be the wrong side of the road, right? So, like, I don't know why someone would.
I would hope that.
If I'm understanding correctly, I don't know why someone would do that. That seems like you're going to the opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
Another is driving in bus lanes and bus gates during their hours of operation.
No,
For example,
you don't
there's
do
signs
that.
Here saying that only buses, taxis, motorbikes and cyclists can go. It says bus gate on
Look
the
at these
road
houses.
there
They're
as
really
well.
pretty.
So I can't go forwards, therefore
Oh.
I have to go up there.
Oh, wait.
That's
Oh,
so
I
it's like
see.
a one-way street then.
Oh my, that's a part of the road. Wait,
That surprises me.
Wait,
yeah,
so-
we would have got caught off guard by that.
hold on. Am I understanding that correctly? Because I was not expecting that. I was expecting a completely separate lane from the road. But as we see here,
It just abruptly changes to you can't go that direction.
what? No, hold on. Am I understanding that correctly? Hold on, guys. I gotta hear that again.
Here saying that
Okay,
only
over there.
buses, taxis,
Hold on, we didn't go far enough back.
Wait.
Same here where the island is. We should be passing this island on the left where the keep left sign is,
Okay.
not on the right.
Yeah,
of it.
makes sense.
I just saw a sign
Another
that I
is
missed the
driving
first
in
time.
Bus lanes and bus gates.
Pause
during the hours of
right
operation.
here,
Example.
right here. Okay. Local traffic only to the left, all other traffic to the right. It doesn't say bus only straight.
No, it
though.
doesn't. No, I can see.
How
it.
would you know? Like,
Does that say? What's this say right here? Is this, I can't tell what that says. It's a little blurry.
it might be bus.
I thought
don't
it said
know.
bus, but I could be off on that. All right, let's see if
That
we can.
would-
Let's see if we can understand what he's saying here, because I'm really curious if I'm understanding this correctly.
Bus lanes and bus gates during their hours of operation. For example, there's signs here saying that only buses, taxis, motorbikes
okay.
and cyclists can go. It says bus gate on the road there as well. So I can't go forwards, therefore I have to go up there.
That is totally different to us.
That is, yeah. Okay,
I would
that
have been driving down through there.
we would have been. I would have had no clue unless I'm like. I mean, you should be reading the signs, but when there's so many
It's not
signs,
that obvious, and there was a lot of text on there.
Right, right.
You'd think they'd be like, stop.
and plus
during-
you might be reading other signs, so you might not even see that sign.
Yeah.
You might be reading other signs around the area, and I would
That was
just
way different.
like a bus lane here. We wouldn't think anything of it, but we don't have a lot of bus experience.
Bus lanes, though, are generally like to the side
Right,
of
to
the
the
regular road,
right.
and you just drive around them.
And then they just get, you don't even have to drive around them. They're like off of the road. They're like an offshoot of the main road. And then they just happen to come back onto the road.
Yeah, that's totally
Wow.
different.
That is totally different. Yeah. I've never seen anything like that.
EVSA say people also fail on this fault for choosing the wrong lane at a roundabout when the signs are very clear, making it obvious which lane you need. And also people fail on this fault for not responding to speed limit signs early enough, if at all. Now it's time for number 9, not having control of the vehicle when moving off. People often fail on this fault for stalling. Not stalling once or twice during the course of your test, but repeatedly stalling many times throughout
What does that
the
mean?
test. Or
Stalling?
repeatedly stalling in a short period of time. For example, you're at a traffic light, it goes green, and you just keep stalling, and it takes you many
you're just holding
attempts
on
to get the
you're
car
just
moving.
waiting to go.
The DVSA say that another common reason people fail in this fault is for rolling back. And they say the reason why they roll back is because they forget to select a gear. So they put the clutch down, get some gas ready, lift the clutch up thinking they have the bite point, when obviously there's no bite point there at all. You can't have the bite point without a gear. They make sure it's safe to move away, and then they take the handbrake off, the car starts rolling back, they come off the clutch completely, rev the engine, don't actually go anywhere, and roll back considerably.
Yeah.
If you roll back a tiny bit during your driving test, then you will still most likely pass. But if you roll back what they deem as a considerable amount, then you will fail. What is a considerable amount though? Well, that's the opinion of the examiner. So best to avoid all rolling back.
That's interesting because, you know, and you've never really drove manuals that much, have you?
I have not. A lot of people in my family did, though, growing up. So I was familiar with the aspect of, like, you know, I was always taught growing up when I was first learning to drive to leave space between me and the person, like, at a stop sign, because if they are driving a stick shift, then, you know, they could roll back. You know what's interesting to me is, I didn't think about this, but it makes sense because you guys drive on the left side of the road. The gear shift is on the left. That would be so different to get used to. I don't drive it normally, but people who do here to go over there.
I'm useless with my left hand. So that would be very, very interesting for me to try to get used to. I've always, whenever I've used a manual, it's always been on my right, obviously.
And finally, we've made it to number 10 of the top 10. Not keeping control of the vehicle during reverse parking.
Wait, what?
When the DVSA say
reverse
control,
parking.
they don't only mean control, they also mean accuracy. So you can fail for lack of control during your maneuver. For example, you're parking on a hill and the car keeps rolling the wrong way and you're not able to manage that hill.
What?
But you can also fail for lack of accuracy. For example, taking too many attempts to finish parking. Or when you parallel park, you mount the curb. Or when you're parking in a car park, you don't keep it in between the lines. If you're touch one of the lines, then you should still pass. But if you're over one of the lines, then you will fail. The examples I've used in this video for the top 10 reasons for failing the driving test in the UK are not just examples I've plucked from thin air, but they are the actual official DVSA examples. DVSA being the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, who are the people who do the test. Well, I hope this video helps you understand what causes most people to fail the driving test in.
Wow.
That was really interesting.
That was very, very interesting, guys.
A couple of them really surprised me.
Yeah.
Especially the bus lane.
Bus stop is absolutely the biggest surprise out of this video.
Because I would have had no clue to expect that. And then just, wait.
Yeah.
Probably got a ticket.
Every time we see something about driving, it just goes to show there's so many differences.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're driving the same cars, generally speaking, but there's just so many different rules of the road, and so much nuance. The lines are different. The signs are different. You have signs that are 15 feet up in the air, and
I don't even think that I had to do parallel parking when I took my driving test. I think the instructor was just like...
For some reason, you always are impressed when I parallel park.
Oh my gosh, yes. You're good at reversing the car, I will say that.
I'm a master. I just whip it up and just like, all right, come on, baby, let's do this.
He is like, there's spaces I'm like, no, there's no way. But he's like... like...
I just get on a slap.
And that's what you drive pretty much all the time. But I'm glad you do. We make a good team. I like riding and you like driving.
Yeah, so we do make a good team in that regard.
One thing I did want to look up though is how long the average driving test is.
Okay, go ahead and look that up real quick.
We're going to see the difference.
All right, did you pull up the US?
I did.
All right, well, I got the UK pulled up.
Should we do US first?
Yeah, good.
All right. So the average, this is just the driving portion. You also have written and other things, but the driving test portion in the US typically takes 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
What is the UK?
40 minutes of actual driving time in a standard car driving test. That's time you're on the road being assessed by the examiner.
That's a long time.
The driving part itself, including general driving, independent driving, and maneuvers, takes roughly 35 to 40 minutes.
Wow.
Some source note that the independent driving section alone is about 20 minutes of that time. Because you've got, I get what they're saying here. You've got the actual driving time, and then you've got
them wanting you to parallel park or like back
the
into a
maneuvers
parking
and stuff.
space. Yeah.
Right. And so, wow. So it sounds like just your driving time where you're like literally on the road, not including parallel parking and things like that, is literally the amount of time of the entirety of our driving test.
Mine was like 10 to 15 minutes.
It's been a long time, but I remember like having to go on a number of different types of roads. I lived in a small town, so it was very limited on like, there was no like extremely busy over the top areas. But
did you have to get on the interstate?
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I had to get on the interstate for like one from like
a mile marker.
Like a mile marker, basically, where I had an on ramp and then off ramp a mile later.
See, I lived in the country and we didn't have an interstate.
Where she was raised, they literally the closest interstate's like an hour away.
Yeah, so I didn't have to worry about that.
So there was nothing. You had everybody that when you're driving, everybody that you're driving past already knows who you are. They're going to get out of the way. Look out, that's Lindsay. Get out of the way. I came close to that. Like she grew up in a smaller town than I did, but I also grew up in a relatively small town. I think when I was probably about 15, 16 years old, I think we probably had about 5,000 people there, maybe 6,000, and you probably had like 2,000.
But I took my test in Paoli, which was the county seat, so it was like 2,500, okay?
Woo, man. Big town.
Anyway, I feel like we're kind of getting a little off topic, rambling a little bit, but we find this topic really interesting, and it's just interesting to see the differences between the UK and the US.
Yeah, this is absolutely one of my favorite topics. Not only do I love driving in real life, but I love learning about what it's like to drive in the UK. And I must say that from everything I've learned, we do have some similarities, but there is a lot more to it to get your driver's license in the UK. And just to be out on the road, there seems like there's a lot more you need to pay attention to and be aware of. Now, I am saying that from someone who lives in not such a large area. We don't live in a big city. And if we went to a big city around here, it would also be more complex than driving where we are. But nonetheless, I must say that it definitely feels like between the US and the UK, it seems like it is a bit harder to get your license over in the UK than it is here.
Didn't, a side note before we leave completely, I had one more question. Didn't we learn in another video that you could go anywhere in the UK and take your driving test?
I think I do remember that, yeah.
So like if you're somewhere where it's super hard, you could go.
That's true. Yeah, you got to wonder about that. So like if you live in, I don't know, London or Manchester or somewhere that it might be a little bit more complicated
intense,
to drive, you could potentially go up into the middle of nowhere where
a smaller town,
a very small town, and it would be a much easier experience maybe. You don't have as much traffic. I wonder if anybody does that. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you know anyone that actually decided to go from a larger area to a smaller area to get their driver's license simply because it may be an easier experience.
Yeah.
I can imagine there's got to be some people that choose to do that. If you can, why wouldn't you, right?
Right, less stress.
Especially like if you're young and you're like, I want to make sure I pass this on the first go. I don't want to fail this.
Yeah.
But guys, love this topic. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think we should check out next in terms of driving in the UK. But I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, peace.
Bye.